At the wedding banquet, my husband, David, put his arm around the shoulder of his college female classmate, Sophia, and flirted with her without a care in the world. All the relatives and friends who came to the wedding looked at me in surprise. I introduced her to them with a big smile. This is the other woman in our family, my husband's mistress, and my sister. Today is my wedding day, the most important moment in my life. I had told David in advance not to let his buddies spray confetti or foam at the wedding. It's difficult to clean up, and it's flammable and explosive, which is very dangerous. David promised well, but after our wedding ceremony ended, his buddies still sprayed a lot of foam and confetti on my head and body. I angrily glanced at David, and he was still smiling cheerfully at his buddies. I swallowed my anger helplessly. I didn't want my wedding to be ruined because of these people. Then, with the help of my bridesmaids, I went backstage to change into another dress. After tidying up and returning to the banquet hall, I saw my husband, David, putting his arm around the shoulder of his college female classmate, Sophia. I didn't know what they were talking about, but they were laughing heartily. David seemed to have made some kind of joke, which made Sophia playfully punch his chest. David held her soft hand and then leaned closer to Sophia's ear while flirting. My friends who were surrounding me to congratulate me looked at me awkwardly. The originally lively scene suddenly fell silent. I smiled and led my friends towards David and Sophia. When I walked up to them, David didn't take his arm off Sophia's shoulder. Instead, he calmly looked at my friends and politely greeted them. "You are all Emma's friends, right? Welcome." As he was speaking, he reached out his hand and wanted to shake hands with one of my female friends. This friend looked embarrassed. Obviously, she didn't want to have physical contact with an unfamiliar man. I reached out and slapped David's outstretched hand and asked him, "The woman in your arms is your friend, right?" Sophia acted as if nothing had happened and replied, "Sister, don't you recognize me? We had a meal together before." I pretended to suddenly understand and said, "I remember. You're the one who always likes to call me sister. My husband's college classmate, right?" I turned around with a big smile and introduced her to the friends around me. "This is the other woman in our family, my husband's mistress, and my sister." As soon as I said this, the expressions of David and Sophia instantly became very embarrassed. David scolded me unhappily. "Emma, what are you talking nonsense about?" Facing the angry David, I remained calm. Otherwise, how should I introduce this young lady to everyone? She's hugging and cuddling with my husband at the wedding banquet. She's the same age as me but always likes to call me sister. Sophia's eyes were slightly red, and her tears were about to fall. Her voice was full of sobs. "I thought I was 2 months younger than you. Sister. I called you sister out of respect. Even if you don't like it, you don't have to insult me like this, do you?" Seeing the beauty in tears, David immediately felt sorry for her. He stood in front of Sophia, frowned, and looked at me. "It's a happy occasion. What are you making a fuss about?" I looked at David coldly. "You still know it's our big happy day. What do you mean by hugging other women at our wedding banquet? Who's making a fuss?" David looked indifferent. "It's just catching up with an old classmate. You women are just narrow-minded and prone to overthinking." I sneered. It's the first time I've seen someone catch up with an old classmate and get so hands-on. I've really opened my eyes today. My sarcastic look made David very unhappy. He said impatiently, "Everyone is watching. Pay attention to the impact. Don't look for trouble. Who are you being sarcastic to?" Seeing David scolding me, Sophia on the other side quickly raised the corner of her mouth and then quickly straightened it. My friends couldn't stand it anymore and helped me scold David one after another. "You're hugging and cuddling with other women at the wedding. How can you say it's Emma who's looking for trouble?" "That's right. As a married man, don't you know you should keep a distance from other women? You did something wrong yourself, but you blame Emma for not considering the overall situation. Your ability to shift the blame is really first class." David's face completely darkened under everyone's criticism. Did you come to the wedding or to cause trouble? Sophia chimed in. No wonder people say you shouldn't date someone with a lot of girlfriends. Sisters. Are you trying to break up David and sister Emma? Sophia coquettishly flirted with David. I only make friends with boys. They are generous and straightforward. And they always think about their friends. There will definitely be no such thing as persuading people to break up instead of staying together. I ignored Sophia's green tea-like remarks and just stared at David. I misjudged you. I never thought that after all my choosing. I would end up with someone like you. I don't think there's any need to continue this wedding. David and I had agreed to have the wedding first and then get the marriage certificate. Now that the wedding isn't going to continue, there's even less need to get the certificate. But we need to sort out our property clearly. For this marriage, I didn't ask for any betrothal gifts. David and I each have a house. My house, bought by my parents, is 120 square meters and is located in Huichuan Mansion in the new district. It's very close to where David and I work, and the surrounding supporting facilities are very complete, making life convenient. We plan to live in my house after marriage because it's more convenient. David's house is only 80 square meters and is in a very remote location. But I didn't raise any objections at that time. After all, when I chose David, I knew his family condition was average. I just thought he was good looking, very motivated at the company, and he was very sincere when he pursued me. So I nodded and agreed to be with him. David Smith once casually mentioned that we should both sell our houses and buy a large flat together. Now that I think about it, I'm glad I didn't agree. After all, the average price of my house was $22,000 per square meter, while David's was only over $8,000. If we had bought a house together, I can't even imagine how troublesome it would be to divide the down payment and mortgage. As for the car worth over $300,000, that was my dowry. I'll definitely take it with me. Regarding the gift money received by the two families, I plan to return all of mine to relatives and friends. As for David's, I don't care. David looked at me as if I were a capricious and childish person. Relatives and friends came from far away to bless our marriage. Now you say you won't get married. Do you think marriage is a joke? Is it just like playing house? I was so angry at David's shamelessness that I laughed. Who is treating marriage like a joke? The wedding isn't even over, and you're already hugging other women. If we had gotten married, would you have brought all sorts of dirty things into our bed? Sophia Brown, who was implied, expressed her dissatisfaction first. Sister, that's a bit too much. David has been running around for this wedding, spending so much money and energy. You just say you won't get married. You're really letting David down. David seemed to be pleased by Sophia's protection and reached out to hold Sophia's hand. I was so disgusted that I almost vomited. Don't disgust me here anymore. Tell your parents that it's over today. We'll talk about the property division later. We were making quite a commotion. David's parents and my parents all gathered around. David's mother smiled reassuringly at me. Emma, don't worry. Our family only recognizes you as our daughter-in-law. We don't recognize other women. I quickly interrupted Mrs. Smith's politeness. No, Auntie, I'm not worthy. I think David is more suitable for this young lady who likes to call me sister. I wish you all a happy marriage for 100 years. Seeing my firm attitude, David finally started to panic. Emma, you're just too fussy. If you don't like my sociable way, I'll pay more attention in the future. Okay, is it really necessary to make it this bad? I've finally seen through him. When David was chasing me, he seemed like an extremely good-natured man. Now that we're getting married, he thinks I'm stuck with him and can't leave. So he doesn't even bother to pretend and just shows his true colors. Actually, he's not that smart. Most men don't show their true selves until after their wives have given birth. Women are soft-hearted, resilient, and have a strong sense of morality after having children. They'll usually just make do with the marriage. But I'm glad David isn't good at pretending. It allows me to stop my losses in time. I simply said. I can't tolerate even a single grain of sand in my eyes. I'm my parents' only daughter. And they usually indulged me. Seeing how outrageous David was today, they were also very angry. My father directly said, "We don't want such a promiscuous son-in-law in our family." A wedding that should have been a happy occasion ended in a bad mood. After my parents and I sent away our relatives and friends, I didn't stay at home, dragging my tired body. I went back to Huichuan Mansion. As soon as I got close to the bedroom, I heard some disgusting sounds. I kicked open the bedroom door, and with a bang, the door hit the wall. The loud noise startled the two people in the bed. David turned his head and saw me. He panicked. He quickly wrapped Sophia in the quilt and then scrambled to pick up his pants from the floor. "Emma, please listen to my explanation." I didn't say a word. I crossed my arms and watched David perform. But David stammered for a while and didn't say anything meaningful. I looked at him calmly. "Keep going. Didn't you say you wanted to explain?" By then, Sophia had put on her clothes under the quilt. She walked up to David, held his arm, and said firmly to me, "Sorry, sister." I suddenly realized that I still like David. I can't let him go. Today, when I saw him standing on the wedding stage, I thought it would be great if I were the one standing next to him. Then she looked at David lovingly. "Before, I never really understood my own feelings. It was only when I saw you at the wedding that I realized I want to marry you. I want to be your bride." I interrupted her impatiently. "Stop it. I know you only like married men. Don't act out some cheesy romance here. It makes me sick." I looked at David mockingly. "Can't you even afford to rent a hotel room? Are you so poor that you break into someone's house to do this? Are you a beggar?" I stretched out my hand. "Also, give me back the key to my house." Hearing me say this, Sophia immediately glared at me like a dog guarding its food. "Sister, you're not David's wife anymore. This wedding room has nothing to do with you. Shouldn't it be you who gives the key back?" I looked at David with a half smile. "Do you tell women that this is the house you bought? Do you use this to deceive women?" David looked at me awkwardly. "Emma, do we really need to be so clear-cut as a couple?" Sophia looked up at David helplessly and asked persistently, "David, did you give this wedding room to Emma?" David didn't say a word. I slowly spoke up to shatter Sophia's illusion. "Now get out of my house." David Smith was exposed by me in front of Sophia Brown for lying. In a fit of anger, he said, "Emma, do you know why our wedding today turned out like this? It's because you're too overbearing. You always don't give me face in front of others. My buddies just had a little fun at the wedding, and you got angry. I'm a man. What I need is a gentle and virtuous wife, not an ancestor who always orders me around." I ignored David's nonsense and continued to emphasize. I said, "Get out of here." David seemed to be immersed in his own world. "I think it's really unnecessary for us to get married. I still like Sophia." Sophia looked at David with a touched face. "David, damn it. Communicating with idiots is really tiring." I took out my phone directly. "I'll count to 3. If you don't leave, I'll call the police and charge you with trespassing." David pulled Sophia beside him angrily. "Fine. You're really heartless. Wait." I stopped the two who were about to leave. "Leave the keys. And transfer me $1,000 for the cleaning fee right now." Sophia looked at me resentfully. "Are you robbing me?" I replied calmly. "That can't compare to Miss Sophia breaking into someone's house and messing around with a man. Your bandit-like behavior is beyond the reach of ordinary people. This $1,000 is for cleaning the mess you made in my house. I haven't even calculated the mental damage fee for myself." Sophia was about to say something, but David interrupted her. "I'll pay. However, Emma, it's useless for you to use this method to attract me, after I've seen clearly what's in my heart. No matter what tricks you play, I won't love you." I shivered with disgust. I didn't expect him to be so narcissistic. I clicked my tongue. Don't worry. You really don't need to have such concerns. After David left the keys and transferred $1,000. He pulled Sophia and slammed the door on the way out. Looking at the messy room, I felt really sick to my stomach. I called a cleaning service on my phone and then went back to my parents' house to stay. After the cleaners finished cleaning, I threw away the things that should be thrown away and changed the door lock. The next day, David sent me a long bill, which included all the money he spent on me during our relationship. It included even the money for a cup of milk tea, the cost of going out for meals, the flowers and gifts he gave me when he was pursuing me, and the red envelopes he sent on special festivals. I took a closer look and found that even the bento he made for me during the relationship was converted into money and sent to me. All these little expenses added up to about $23,000. I was so angry that I laughed. During the 6-month relationship, I paid for most of the meals. When he gave me gifts, I would give him more expensive ones in return. The money I spent far exceeded what David spent on me. How could he have the nerve to calculate these things with me? I called David to scold him, but he even argued righteously, saying that he had records of the transfers he made to me. Did I have any evidence? Then I remembered that sometimes David would say he'd treat me to a meal, but he'd ask me to pay first and then transfer the money back to me later. Most of the time, I didn't accept his transfers. I thought he might not have much money, so I felt sorry for him and didn't want to take his money. But sometimes he would act coquettishly and ask me to accept some transfers, saying it was a red envelope for his girlfriend. Who would have thought there was such a scheme? I was so angry that I shared a video on my TikTok account. The title was "Beware of Some Men's Schemes." I detailedly shared with netizens how a man would let you pay the bill when having a meal and then transfer the money back to you through WeChat or Alipay. In this way, after the breakup, he could ask for the money back through the transfer records. It was like you invited the guy to dinner during the relationship and still had to give him extra money. Unexpectedly, this video became popular. Many netizens shared little tips on how to guard against men who cheat money in the comments section. Some netizens dug out through my previous videos that my boyfriend was David. Then someone asked in the comments section if it was him. I just replied with a smilin' face. Then someone dug out David's account and sent private messages to scold him. David called me and angrily asked what I was trying to do. I replied innocently, "I just want to help netizens distinguish which men like to cheat money." "Why are you so angry?" David shouted at me angrily. "I don't want the $23,000. Delete the video." I replied reluctantly, "Do you know that I can make money from the popular video? Maybe someone will even ask me to do advertisements. If you ask me to delete it, will you be responsible for the subsequent losses? I've calculated, and it might even exceed $1 million. Of course, David couldn't give me $1 million. He didn't have that much money. So in the end, he could only leave a furious sentence. "You're really something. Just wait." And then hung up the phone. Faster than David's counterattack was a call from his mother. David's mother earnestly advised me to forgive David on the phone. She said she didn't like a promiscuous woman like Sophia and only liked me. If David dared to be with Sophia again in the future, she wouldn't recognize him as her son. Just listen to this. No mother doesn't side with her own son. I firmly refused David's mother's mediation. "Sorry, Auntie. I can't be with someone who betrayed me." Not long after I hung up David's mother's call, David called. "Don't ask my mother to mediate. I can't be with you. I like Sophia." I interrupted his self-talking. "I don't know what your mother told you. Please don't be so self-indulgent. It doesn't matter to me even if you like a pig. Please ask you and your family not to call me Aga." Okay. I blocked you. And we'll never see each other again. Unfortunately, I blocked all the contact information of David Smith and his family members. But unexpectedly, I saw him and Sophia Brown in Huichuanfu community. After Sophia saw me, she acted like a victor. raising her left hand and waving it at me. David and I are getting married. Will you come to our wedding? Sister, I can ask David to give you an invitation. I frowned. When will you ever change this bad habit of trying to be familiar with me? Who's your sister? I don't have such a brazen little sister. Then I squinted my eyes and looked at her ring. Is this a diamond ring? Where's the diamond? You'd have to use a magnifying glass to find it. Right. Sophia's face flushed red. A look of embarrassment flashed across David's face. And then he flew into a rage. Emma Johnson. Stop causing trouble. What good does it do you to provoke my fiancé? Don't tell me you still have feelings for me. I spat at him. Don't flatter yourself. I was just about to say. Did you two rent a house in our community because you can't let me go? Do you two scumbags both have a crush on me and can't live without me? I was happy to see these two scumbags hopping mad. The next day after work, when I saw David and Sophia again, there was a little teddy dog beside them. My body immediately went stiff. I'm extremely afraid of dogs because I was bitten by a dog when I was a kid, leaving me with a psychological shadow. David knew this, and he did it on purpose. As soon as she saw me, Sophia let go of the rope. The puppy, only a few months old, was very friendly and immediately ran towards me. I was so scared that I didn't dare to move. Seeing me pale with fear and breaking out in a cold sweat, Sophia pretended to come forward and pull the puppy away. Oh. I'm so sorry. I slipped and didn't hold the rope tight. David stood beside her, grinning smugly. Fine. If you like to play like this, I'll play to the end. That night, I accidentally posted a 3-second short video in the homeowners group. It was the good deed that David and Sophia did in my bedroom. However, you couldn't see their faces clearly. You could only see the actions of the two people in the bedroom for a moment. About 30 seconds later, I quickly withdrew it and sent a message. Sorry, I slipped. But everyone should be careful. A shameless man and woman broke into my house and did such things in my bedroom. Everyone must be careful. I believe that in this short half-minute. Many homeowners who are always on their phones would have seen it. Not long after, an unfamiliar number called me. I happily answered it. Sure enough, it was David. After I blocked him, he had to use another phone to call me. On the other end of the phone, David roared at me angrily. What do you want to do? What you did is illegal. You even secretly filmed and posted it in the group. I replied cheerfully. Oh, I'm so scared. But don't slander me. I informed you when I installed the camera in the bedroom. And you agreed. At that time, when we were about to get married, I saw on a short video platform that some people would pretend to be relatives of both sides and go to the bridal chamber to steal the money in the dowry chest during the chaotic wedding. So I proposed to install a camera in the bedroom before the wedding, in case a thief entered the bridal chamber. We could have video evidence to call the police. After the wedding, we could remove the camera and install it at the door to prevent thieves. Speaking of which, David was the one who installed the camera with his own hands. Maybe his mind, controlled by lust at that time, forgot about it, leaving me with this disgusting but useful video. I continued to add happily. Moreover, I just accidentally posted it in the group and immediately withdrew it. You can't frame me. David tried his best to hold back his anger. You're also a girl. You know how much such a video can hit a girl. Can you stop provoking Sophia? She's pregnant. And her emotions are not very stable. I sneered. Pregnant? Were you already with her before our wedding? You're really something. You betrayed me and still expect me to understand the mistress. David forced a smile. Can we stop targeting each other like this? Let's part on good terms. Okay. You really know how to twist things around. Is it me who doesn't want to part amicably? Tell me who started it. You come to my house to disgust me. While we were dating, you were already planning how to scam me out of money. And you moved into my neighborhood to scare me with your dog. Who is it that doesn't want a clean break? I hung up on David Smith, not wanting to hear him disgust me anymore. At that moment, someone in the residents' group chat had already started saying they knew who I was talking about. And the backstory was especially juicy. Then, some onlookers urged them to spill the details quickly. Next, someone revealed that the woman was a mistress who hooked up with the man at the wedding. That unfaithful couple even went to the bride's house to mess around, acting incredibly arrogant. Everyone condemned those scumbags. Then, amid the chaos, someone blurted out that this unfaithful couple was now in our neighborhood. After that, someone else said, "Aren't they right here in our residents' group chat?" The group instantly fell silent. I snorted with laughter, wondering how David and Sophia Brown felt seeing others curse them in the chat. David and Sophia's counterattack came swiftly. David's TikTok account was still under constant attack, but he posted a video that day anyway. In it, he accused me of distorting the truth, saying that whenever we went out on dates, I always chose high-end restaurants and ordered expensive dishes. Even for bubble tea, I insisted on going to pricey places like Starbucks, ordering a bunch of pastries just to take photos for social media, barely eating any of it and wasting food. Once, I even ordered a meal costing 20,000 yuan at a Western restaurant. He later made me pay to teach me a lesson about my wasteful habits. But he didn't actually want me to foot the bill, so he'd transfer the money back afterward. It wasn't about scamming money as I claimed. In the video, he also implied that I not only spent recklessly but flirted with many men to get them to treat me. One guy, seeing how much I ordered at Starbucks, refused to pay and used a bathroom excuse to run off midway. Ultimately, I had to call him back to settle the bill. David said he couldn't stand me because I was a liar who tricked men into paying for meals, treating them like wallets. And that's why he ended things. Clueless netizens initially attacked me blindly, but soon others spotted flaws in David's story. Starbucks requires payment up front, so how could anyone pay after eating? Then people mocked him, saying he should at least base his lies on facts. I directly posted my lawsuit for defamation against David online, captioning it, "The innocent need not explain themselves." Seeing I meant business, David got scared and called from another unknown number. David apologized meekly over the phone. "That video wasn't about you. It was about an ex-girlfriend. If you feel affected, I'll delete it." Okay. We at least had a relationship on, see no need to make things so hostile. I scoffed. "I'll drop the lawsuit if you post a video publicly apologizing to me, admitting your last video was a lie, and confessing that you and Sophia were together before the wedding, betraying me." David hissed through gritted teeth. "Don't push it too far." I replied casually. "Suit yourself. If you don't post it, expect a court summons." 2 days later, David received the summons and called me again. "Emma Johnson, you should always leave some room. You might need my help someday." Lying on the sofa, swinging my feet, I felt great. Relax. Even if I hit rock bottom, I'd never come to you. Made up your mind. Time's running out. After a long pause, David choked out 4 words. "I agree." That afternoon, after seeing David's video, I kept my promise and withdrew the lawsuit. But the video's impact was bigger than I expected. David and Sophia's companies saw it. And with the sluggish economy this year, they both got fired for moral misconduct. Jobless and unable to afford rent, David moved out of Huichuan Mansion, thinking I wouldn't have to see them after work anymore. The neighborhood air felt fresher. I heard David took Sophia home to live off their parents. Though who knows how long that'll last, but that's none of my business. Next time, I'll keep my eyes wide open, take it slow, and not rush, because haste makes waste.